Hello everyone, welcome back to the SQL station. In this lesson, I'm going to explain the basics of SQL. This session is so useful for someone who wants to start their journey in SQL and you don't need to have any prior experience. So before we continue, I want you guys to make sure you have SQL Server 2022 and SQL Server Management Studio 21 is installed in your computer. If you don't have, don't worry. I have link in the description where I have explained SQL Server and SQL Server Management Studio installation process. So please follow the instructions. Let's start today's session. Search for SQL Server Management Studio. Click on Connect. On the server name, give localhost because you have installed SQL Server on your computer. Make sure you click Trust Server Certificate. Click on Connect. That should connect us to the SQL Server. Under the database section, you will see different databases. But we don't see any user databases here because this is a brand new installation. But we do have one database called AdventureWorks Data Warehouse 2022. This is a sample database from Microsoft, so you can restore this database into your local system. I have link in the description where I have explained how to restore a sample database onto your SQL Server. But for today's session, I am going to create a brand new database. And I'm going to create some objects in the database and walk you through some basic SQL. Okay, I have the exercise file available. So let me bring that file, open file. This is the file where I explain SQL in 5 minutes. This is the script that we are going to run today. So I will just walk you through the script. So in the starting, we are going to create a database called Cricket, and then we will create a table called Player. We will insert some data into the table and we will do some basic SQLs on that one. Let's create the database. Just select this particular line and click on execute. So the command completed successfully, which means you should see the database in the databases. Right click on the databases, click on refresh. You will have the database called Cricket. Under the table sections, there are no user defined tables because we just created the database. That's an empty database. So now we will create this player table, but we are going to choose the database that we just created. Create table called player. So command completed successfully. So this is the basic syntax of the table, right? And we have successfully created the table. And now we will see how to insert a row into the table that we just created. What is the syntax? Insert into the table and to the respective fields, values. These are the values. Just run that. That should insert that particular row into the table. Cricket is my favorite subject, so that's why I have chosen this particular data set. So sometimes it's so useful if you are dealing with the data that you are very familiar with. And now I'm going to run this query called select star from player. That's going to retrieve all the rows and all the columns from that particular table. But we just inserted one row. That's why we can only see one row from that particular table. Right? Yeah. And the next, I'm going to apply some filters, right? And what do we do to apply some filter? We introduce a keyword called where. So select star from player. The table name is the player, where last name is equal to Sehwag. last name is one of the field, one of the column in our table. So I'm saying give me all the rows where the last name is equal to Sehwag. Anyway, we have one row in our table, so we should see that row. Yes, we could see that row. Now, what is the next query? We will try some update statement. I have done a mistake previously, but I did that mistake for the purpose of this lesson. So I have given Sehwag name as Virender Sehwag, right? In Virender Sehwag, his name is actually DER. Okay, now we use this command update table command to update his first name correctly. So this is the syntax: update the table name player, set the first name is equal to Virender, which is Virender, but what we have initially inserted is DAR, right? Where player ID is equal to 1. If you have multiple rows, so this filter is going to filter this particular row and update the first name of this player ID, right? But we don't have any issues if we are just updating without this filter because we only have one row. But we will put this filter and update that particular row and see what happens. Okay, cool. One row updated. That's cool. And then do a select star from player again and see if the name is updated or not. You can see Virender. So the name, first name updated successfully, right? What we have seen so far, we have seen how to create a table in SQL Server database and how can we insert a row into the table, and we have also seen how to select all the details from a table, right? And how to apply a filter. We have applied a filter where last name is equal to Sehwag, and we have also seen how to update a row in a table, right? Now we will see how to delete a row. I don't want this particular row in my table, so we execute this statement: delete from table where player ID is equal to 1. One row affected. Now check, select star from player, gone. That particular row is gone. So this is how we can do some basic SQL in SQL Server. If you know these syntax very well, you know SQL like almost 30 to 40%, because doesn't matter how big the data set is, these are the basic SQLs that we are going to run, right? And this is another query where we are asking, give me a count star from that play table. There's no rows because there was only one row and we have deleted that row. Okay, now let's insert that row again, right? Instead of asking select star from the table, this time we are asking select count star, right? And it's gonna give you one row. Yes, because there is only one row from the table. Okay, that's good, but what is this as players? This is called alias to the column. Select star is the original calculation that we are doing, and we don't have any name for that, so we are calling it as a total players. So select star from select count star as total players from player. Now we have seen how to create a table, how to insert the data, how to update the data, how to delete the data, right? What is the statement drop do? this will actually delete the entire table from the database. See, I did drop table player. So now we will go back to that select star and see what happens. The invalid object name player, because we dropped the table completely, but when you deleted the data, when you use the delete, it will only delete the data from the table, but the table still exists in the database. But a drop statement will delete the table completely, right? So that's what I wanted to explain today. And before I close, I wanted to give a small tip in my every lesson. So if you do a simple select get date, it's gonna give the system date for us, and this get date function is very useful, right? So we will see how can we make use of this get date function in our next lessons. That's the end of this lesson. If you find this lesson helpful, please subscribe to my channel, and I'm going to introduce some exciting SQL courses for you guys. Okay, thank you so much.